All right, we're going to take a look at the inbox and the labels and what can be done there to help you get your inbox as organized as possible. Number one, some people's inbox is absolutely out of control with emails. Some people have 10,000 emails. They've never organized anything, and or some don't even know that they can change the way that their inbox looks. Um, so when we take a look at inbox, the first thing you want to look at is right here in this center section. Is this set up in a way that's making life hard or easy? If it's making it hard, one thing you can do is come over here to this settings gear. And one quick thing you can do is change the way your inbox looks. So, for example, if you just want the default inbox, which is what I use, I just like the default inbox where everything is broken down by time and date, and it just stacks up on top of itself. I have seen some people that have it set up with the important, where there's two sections. Some people like unread versus everything else, where they read something and it falls down to here. Some people prefer the priority inbox, where there's important and unread, starred, and then everything else. Some people even have social setups and other things like that. You can set it up in any way you want. For me, I like to go to the default inbox because I just think it's simpler. Everything stacks. These labels are ways for you to help organize yourself. And your inbox has lots of things you can do. Number one, you can move conversations by just dragging and dropping them at any time. So, for example, if I want to file something like this email thread with Marianne, if I want to go take this down to a label, I can just drop it. It now sits here. And inside that folder, I can keep things out of the inbox so that things are a little bit more visually easy for me to see. Number two, you can refresh the inbox. You can do any select of any emails. The little menu shows up either way. When you're looking at a selected inbox, you can go to the archive, which takes and archives an email into the archived sections. But for me, I like to just have a label, and just when I've read it or put it somewhere, I file them into labels, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You can report as spam right here, right off the rip. If you decide that it's spam, there are other places you can do that. You also can trash it, mark it as red, snooze it. Snoozing it means it's not going to keep sending you. It's not going to keep sending you notices that it's over and over and over and dinging your inbox. It's going to basically quiet it. You can add a task to that email. If you hit add task, it's going to open up your tasks pane and basically just set up a task that you have to complete so that you keep yourself reminded of checking email. For me, I actually prefer to use Google Keep, and that way I can take notes of what my emails told me I needed to do. Like, so for example, I need to plan for the PAC and TV or send out an email to coaches. Those are all things that I keep in my notes, and my notes keep is right there next to my email. So once I read it, I file it and I answer my keep. You can move your emails to anything you want. These are the same thing as your labels. It's just a more functional button style way of doing it versus just drag and dropping it. You can mark things as important, mark them as different labels. You can hit this three dots, do the unread, important. You can add a star. The important one that most people do not think about is this filtering button. If you see an email such as STRS. So STRS comes from this strso.org, and it's also a subscription email. If I want, and this is such a useful tool, I can filter. Now, for example, if I wanted to, I can set up a filter that has any of these parameters and create a label where these will go. So, as an example, if I'm like, okay, all my STRS, or I can say it just has the words STRS. But in this situation, we're going to use the email address. And I'm going to create a filter. Then I'm going to tell it what I want it to do. So I want it to skip my inbox. and I want it to go to a label, and I'm going to say it's going to be a label, and I'm going to make a new one. So I see that there's not one I like. I'm going to make a new one and call it STRS. So it's going to go to STRS and completely skip the inbox. When I press to create the filter, and once I have set up the filter, you'll notice that a label has been created, STRS, and those emails will now start routing into STRS. Another example, like I have my deposits, because I don't want those to get lost. I actually have a rule set that basically all deposits will route to deposits. So as an example, if I go over here to my settings and I look at my filters, you'll see that I have all direct deposits from Noeka. They are skipping the inbox and they are going to the layer of deposits. And the reason why that's so helpful is it makes sure that your email inbox is not cluttered. So I have labels created on the left. Some are auto filters where it will route things in there, like Google Help or my deposits or GoGuardian, and it routes all that stuff in there. So again, you can do that from filter messages like this on that top level. Now over here, you basically just have a keyboard. You can thumb through your pages of your email. I try my best to keep it down to 1 to 2 pages of email. That way I'm not losing things. So what can you do in the inbox when you click on an email? When you click on an email, you'll notice that that set of options shows back up. I can mute, etc. Now, you might ask, why would you mute something? Let's say there's a thread going in your building and a lot of people are hitting reply all and it just keeps dinging your inbox and you're just tired of hearing it. If you press mute, you will no longer get any more um, notices. It will no longer go to your inbox. It'll just keep it will keep archiving what's being said, but it won't actually alert you to that fact, and you won't be bothered by the constant replies. Other things you can do in here: you can open this in a new window. You can print. There's 3 dots next to the reply button in the email. You can hit reply, forward, filter messages like this. You can again set a filter so it goes to a label. You can print, delete, block, spam phishing. There is a video that we taped on spam phishing and blocking. The show original is important for one reason. If, for example, there's ever anything wrong with your email or you need to send something to me to have Google look into it, I often will ask you to send me the original email or download the message. If you hit show original, you'll actually see all this data. And if Google ever has to try and figure out why a message didn't get delivered or why it went to spam, we need that information. Or you could download the original and send it to me. And that's all out of that 3 dots. There's reply. You'll notice on mine, I don't have reply all as an option. I actually have to physically tell it to reply all. So in that situation, I don't have a reply all option. But that's the inbox as it sits. So in the next video, we're going to go over a little bit more into labels and how to make them, and hopefully help you organize your inbox.